All right, can I see with your thumbs? Are you all on our information session? Great. So METTC is a teacher training organization that is very unique in terms of Montessori teacher education programs. While we share many great features with other programs, such as our AMS accreditation and our MACD accreditation status, we are unique for a couple of reasons. One of them is that we are a collaborative organization. That is why tonight you met 3 of our staff members who hold a variety of roles, not just teacher trainers, but field visit coordinators and tech coordinators and admission directors. We run our organization collaboratively as a team. We have about 15 to 18 staff members, and 9 of us hold administrative roles. And as such, we model what it's like to work collaboratively with adults, to share ideas, to have a non-hierarchical organization, which at sometimes will mean if you join us, you may have to pause and wait for answers to questions as we discuss them as a collaborative. But I think it's a model in which we really say, we teach what we model in the classrooms. Our classrooms are collaborative spaces. Our classrooms are spaces where everyone has a voice, and that is true within the way we organize ourselves here at METTC. We are also unique in that we are an elementary training program. That is what we do. We have just elementary training. We are focused on training teachers who work with 6 to 12-year-olds. All of our staff have worked with children at this level, and that is their area of specialty and focus. We love working with second plane children, and so we train teachers who want to work with those students. And another feature that's, both unique and why I know I love working at METTC is we work really hard to make our program responsive and inclusive. We know that the people who come and join us for teacher training are the people who are guiding our program. So we work really hard to understand, what do you need as teachers right now in 2023 in your classrooms, in your schools, and we adapt our program to meet your needs. Yes, we have a core program. Yes, we have curriculum. Yes, we have expectations, but we also want our training to prepare you to teach children today in the classrooms that you're in. And we really value and get a lot of feedback from students about how to make our program relevant and up to date and current. And some of that is activities like the students lead weekly meetings at METTC and bring in games and activities and readings that they're doing with their students in their classrooms. And some of that happens in advisory meetings and through problem solving. But our program really is meant to be relevant and helpful while giving you a strong foundation and important tools that you'll need to teach in your classrooms. Like I said, we have a diverse and large faculty, which is unique for a training program. With our large faculty, it means that you will meet teachers who work all over the United States and have experience teaching internationally, who work at different types of schools, who work with different age students. Some of us work in really small schools, family schools. Some of us work in large schools. You will get to hear different perspectives, different experiences. Everyone is focused on elementary children, but by meeting all these different people, you will hear different teaching styles, right? Montessori has core lessons, right? We all teach the golden beads, but we all bring ourselves to our teaching. And because we have such a diverse faculty, you'll get to see golden bead lessons, see math lessons from multiple teacher trainers. You will get to have multiple experiences when you're practicing with materials, which just helps you come and say, yes, my teacher training program told me to do this, but Joel gave me this great advice about this way to grab children's attention. I say it also means you'll probably find someone who you really resonate with. We know what it's like when you find that mentor or you find that person who you see and you're like, right? Like, this is my person. Like, I get them, they get me, and I know that they're going to help me, or I know I can come with a question to them, or they're really inspiring to me. Because you see lots of different people, you know, you're not seeing one instructor for 8 weeks of math. You have that opportunity to find that person for you. And that's something I know we all love as faculty too, to find, you know, the students who are like, oh, you know, we share that environmental education background, or we share that Orton Gillingham background, and get to share those moments together. Our faculty is also well esteemed. There are a number of AMS Living Legacies, PhD trained faculty members, published authors, really well respected and well credentialed Montessorians. So they will inspire you not only with their teaching skills, but with the ways they've contributed to the Montessori community and to the education community. So our program does teacher training, which it sounds like is what you guys are mostly interested in here tonight. We are MACD and AMS accredited for Elementary 1, Elementary 2, and Elementary 1-2. So those are 3 different levels, which we will talk about in detail in the next part of this. We do offer workshops and refreshers. So we have a overview workshop coming up, which is like an introduction to Montessori pedagogy online. I think we're offering a summer workshop weekend this year. So we have professional development opportunities, and we also work with schools for consulting. So if you're an administrator and you wanted one of our team members to come to your school and work on a specific topic, we do that as well. As I mentioned, we are an accredited training program. I guess I have to update this. I thought I did for both MACD and AMS. One of our other core components is we really work hard to be a high fidelity program. Every school is unique, and Montessori can look many different ways, but as a training program, our goal is to stick to those key elements, those AMS core principles for what Montessori should look like in schools. Working with that uninterrupted work cycle, using the materials in your teaching, the 3-period lesson, student work choice for follow-up. When you come, you will be invigorated with what Montessori could be with those essential ideas, and then you will take it back to your school and understand the nuances of how that is implemented where you are teaching. But we give you those key principles, those key values. And we believe really deeply in the idea of supported practice. We are an in-person training program. You do come to Boston for the summer and for seminars and work with us. And part of that is, like I said, we model what a classroom environment is, and that is working together with people, with community, practicing together, learning together, getting feedback, and growing as a community. While there are so many things that the virtual world has given to us that I really do value, such as this information session, we really value the opportunity to learn with you and alongside of you in the summer. And it's a really unique experience to be out of our lives for a period of time with people who are doing what you're doing and building that community and learning together. We believe in that opportunity of human connection, and that's what we do with our students. So it's really wonderful to have that together in the summers, even though it is a big commitment and it is also hard. We believe in it and we think it's worth it. So since you do have to come to us, you should know where we are. METTC takes place at Lexington Montessori School. So we rent space at Lexington Montessori Schools in the summer. Lexington is a little bit outside of Boston proper, right outside of the Cambridge neighborhood, city. I'm not sure. I'm not from the city, so my terminology. Right outside of Cambridge. There is a beautiful campus at Lexington Montessori School. We really love being there. If you look over here, the campus has a primary building, and we use that just for a week for one of our overview classes. And then most of our program takes place in the elementary buildings, and they have a middle school building. So we kind of take over classrooms, we set up lecture style classrooms, and then we set up prepared environments. So we set up classrooms filled with materials, rugs, paper, pencils, all the things you need to learn. So we have a space for instruction and then a space for practice for both levels. So there's a sample lower elementary and upper elementary environment where we are. They have a beautiful outdoor campus. I think 110 acres. 10 acres probably is more realistic. They have a large wooded campus, so there are trails. I always take a lunch walk, or we have breaks and you can take a walk down to the stream. We use the fields and the campus for games and learning environment. So it's really beautiful to be on that campus. And if you are thinking about METTC for our program, I'm glad you're here to talk to us, but I really encourage you to talk to people about training. Talk to people at your school, talk to people who've gone through training. We're really proud of what our alumni say about our program. People have a really good experience with us, but you'll learn a lot hearing what people's experience was like. You know, what did they love about training before? I went to a school where many teachers went to METTC. And some of the information I got beforehand was hilarious. You'll hear stories. I was back in the day where we didn't have like colored things printed yet. Everything was black and white. So before I came to training, I talked to other teachers at my school and they were like, we'll give you all these things to color. So I got them and I was preparing. I thought I was going to show up to training really prepared. And then it turned out that they had them printed for you in color by the time I got there. So sometimes you get great information and sometimes the teachers will send you astray, but it's still worth it. As part of training, when you sign up for training, we give you these beautiful digital files. They're in color. And that comes with your training tuition. So if you look at other programs, or perhaps you were primary trained or trained at another level, a unique feature of METTC training is that we give you your albums and your presentations and your lessons fleshed out, so it looks like this. There is a title, there is an aim, there are Common Core alignment in many of the albums in the math and geometry albums. It gives you a presentation lecture, and then you will add to that at your time here, but you don't have to worry about like typing everything the teacher said or getting all that. This is something that comes with your training. You will also get copies of materials to add to your classroom. And again, those files are something that comes with your tuition and everybody gets in training with us. Our albums and materials are something we're really proud of. We work on our albums all the time. We are always updating them. We want them to be useful to you. We want them to be a tool that you can bring back to your classroom and feel prepared to know what you're teaching, to have a reference. But we also know that teaching is more than just a great lesson plan. Teaching is more than just knowing which way to move the materials on the rug. So we have a lot of classes and spend a great deal of time on philosophy and classroom management skills. One of my favorite things we do are classroom management panels where you'll get 4 or 5 instructors up in the front of the room, and you can send them questions ahead of time or just bring questions to the session and really talk about, I was working on this lesson and this is what happened and what would you do, and really have that feedback on real teaching, what it's like, what the hard parts are. Sometimes, yes, the hard parts are knowing what you're teaching and how to use the materials. And sometimes the hard parts are, What is your system for record keeping? How do you keep track of all of this? Can we talk about what people are using in their classrooms and sharing and getting those ideas from each other? We are also committed to anti-biased and anti-racist education in our programs. And again, in saying that it's not just a 4-hour lecture that happens once in the summer. These conversations take place in math classes and philosophy and management classes. When we talk about literature books and lit circles, it is at something that is part of everything we teach to children, and therefore it's a part of our entire program during the summer. Additionally, we are really committed to being a support system for you if you come to training with us. That can look like advisory groups and support that take place. So you come join us for the summer, and then you go back to your classrooms, and we make sure you don't feel like you were just sent off into the abyss. You know, you have a small group that you will meet with monthly, that keeps in touch with you, that talks about different things. You know, someone who knows who you are and knows what you're doing and knows your status. We come and observe you in the classroom. As Sheila said, you'll get visits from us during your time in student teaching. And we're just a great network of people. You can always ask us, you know, what do you think about this? Or I have a question about this, or I want to observe another school. Where do you think I should go? The faculty here have a lot of experience, a lot of resources, and they really love to help teachers. I mean, that's why we do what we do. So you get all of our support when you come and train with us. And the reason that I have come back beyond training and joined the faculty is because of the community. That human connection, people working with people who do what you do and care about you and become friends. I will say one of my best friends in the whole world, I met at training, and we actually moved across the country together to teach together up here in Maine for 8 years. And she remains one of my closest friends to this day. And that story is not unique. People really meet lifelong friends, mentors, great fellow teachers, because we do come together and we learn together and inspire each other. And that's the stuff that makes it all worth it. We have a lot of fun together. There's a lot of games and sharing music and resources and going out to lunch if you want, or going to a museum. It really is an opportunity to meet people. So we do a lot of great things. We offer you a lot of great resources. We are an incredible community of people. And what brings us together, and what hopefully will bring you perhaps together with us, are these core beliefs that we share. We believe in Montessori education. We believe that our world will benefit from and grow from and thrive if we can support children to be competent, autonomous, responsible, adaptive world citizens. And that is what they deserve from their education. They deserve the opportunity to grow and become the self that they are driven to be, in an environment that respects them and cares about them and sees who they are. We believe that can only happen in an environment that is inquisitive, cooperative, and nurturing, that gives them the opportunity to do real things, to do meaningful things, to contribute to the world, and whatever that looks like. That doesn't look like the same thing in every classroom. That might mean if you are a farm school, they are contributing by learning about plants and learning about nature. If you are an art school, they're cultivating handwork crafts. But no matter what, they are doing real things within a community and learning those skills. And we believe that children need teachers who are prepared, who are committed and caring, and want that for their students and their schools and their communities. And having a good teacher preparation experience will help you feel equipped to go do this big work with the children, because it is big work. Being a teacher is a whole heart task. And we just hope we can send you off with some of the skills you'll need to do this big work in your schools. And we have lots of great teachers we've loved who said this has been a great way to come to their schools prepared. So I always just like to end looking at all of our teacher groups. We really have a great time together. So now I am going to shift into, that was kind of METTC as a whole. This is, so you are ready for teacher training. I'm interested in what you've talked about. What would I be committing to? What are the details of coming and getting my teacher certification with METTC? And that's what we're talking about here. This information in the slideshow is available on our website, or it's part of like the admissions process. So if you see something and you're like, oh, could I have that? Feel free to reach out to me afterwards and I can direct you to how to get that. So you're welcome to take notes, but also this information is available. As I said, we train at 3 levels. So elementary 1 is training for lower L. Elementary 2 is just 9 to 12 upper elementary training. And then elementary 1-2 would train you for both levels. So that's like a combined training. And then I don't think we have anyone here. If you have lower elementary training and you wanted to add on upper L training, that can happen as well. So there are kind of 4 programs, but they're really just those elementary programs. I'm going to go into the details of each one in a way that I think makes more sense than this, but that kind of gives you an overview. When you come for teacher training, there are 2 phases we're going to talk about in the next couple of slides. The first is the academic phase. And that is the weeks that we are in person, the time that we are in person on campus together. During that time, you are getting presentations, you are working on your lessons and your albums, practicing with materials. You will have assignments that have to do with your academic phase, such as making materials. The exams are part of your academic phase, observing in other programs. That's kind of that academic learning work. Then there is your practicum phase, and that takes place in a classroom, hypothetically at the school that you are currently working at, although if you're not at a school, it could take place at a school. It takes place in a classroom. The practicum phase is a required part of the training, although it takes place in a classroom at your school. During that time, you are teaching children. You are teaching at the level that you are training under. You are practicing those lessons in the classroom. You are using the materials you've made. You are getting visited by instructors in your classroom. You are submitting, there's an assignment to submit a video of your teaching. An advisory group also really focuses on what's happening in your specific classroom rather than like METTC's academic instruction. So as we look at the next slides, you'll see me reference both the academic phase, which is our instructional coursework, and the practicum phase, which is your teaching in the classroom. This is just the dates again. So I know we have Mary here and she is looking at the elementary 1 program, but just so you guys can see, elementary 1 is a 2-year program and it starts, so these are flow charts. It starts with the prerequisite, which is a Montessori overview class. That can take place in person or online. After you take that class, there's 5 weeks of in-person instruction in the summer of 2023. And then you leave us on August 4th and get ready for your school year. And that could be the first year of your internship or the first year of that practicum. If you aren't in a practicum placement though, for this program, you don't have to start your practicum until that second year. So for this program, it's 5 weeks in the first summer. You come back in November for a seminar, a 3-day seminar. You come back in May for a 3-day seminar. And then you have 3 weeks in the summer of 2024. After that time, you've finished the bulk of your academic phase. And then the 2024-2025 school year would be the final year of your practicum. And you come back one more time in May for your seminar, and then that wraps up your schedule. If you were looking at the elementary 1-2 program, which I didn't think anyone is, so I won't talk in detail, but just so you can see, it is very similar to the 6-9 program. It starts the same way as the elementary 1 program with the overview prerequisite, 5 weeks, 2 fall seminars, but the change happens in 2024. That summer, instead of 3 weeks, you stay for the full summer. So it is 6 weeks in the second summer. Then your internship begins or ends. It depends on what level you're teaching at. So again, if this is appealing to you, we can talk specifically about your scenario. And then the next year you come back for 2 seminars, and those are upper L seminars. So the program starts the same, but you have more in that second year than elementary 1. And that's because you're doing elementary 1 too. You're finishing up your elementary 1 and you're staying and joining us for elementary 2. If you are looking at the elementary 2 standalone program, this program can be done in 1 year, and it looks a little bit different than our elementary 1 program. It starts with a overview prerequisite course. You have to take this online. So we offer it in the spring. We actually have 1 starting next week and 1 starting the first week of April. It is an 8-week online course that meets once a week. And then when you come in the summer on June 26th, your entire 6 weeks of training are elementary 2, our upper L training. It's split into kind of 2 parts where you do a elementary 1 overview and then a deep dive into upper L, lots of philosophy and management. And then immediately following the summer, you are in your practicum, your internship year. So you are in your student teaching year that first summer or that first school year. During that time, there is a 6-week course called Philosophy into Practice that happens typically during the first 6 weeks of the school year, although depending on where students are from, it's September to October. And it's really designed to help you start the school year with those philosophy practices in mind. It's about preparing the environment, observation, record keeping. It's very practical. You come back for 2 seminars. The first seminar is in May. The first seminar is November. The second seminar is in May. And that could conclude your upper L training. If people need more time, you can extend it into the second year, but you don't need to come back for any more academic work. Your academic coursework is done in 1 year. We do, like I said, have elementary 2 if you are adding on. I don't think we have anyone here for that, but if you ever come back, it is an option. And then we've talked about, you come to Lexington, you come and train with us. What do you do all day? What does that look like? So this is just a sample of a week schedule. Classes start at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. You have an hour for lunch from 12 to 1. You can eat on campus, bring your own lunch, or you can go out for lunch or order lunch in. People find whatever works for them. Potluck with friends, whatever makes you happy. And then we have an afternoon session from 1 to 5. Everyone is required to be on campus for those sessions. Those are kind of our lecture style sessions, or where teachers are presenting to you, practicing with you in the classroom. But what's another thing that's unique is you can see there's a really diverse offering of things that happens in a day. You know, you don't have 1 week of math where you get every math lesson that you could ever teach. We have classes that are arranged so that you're thinking about different curriculum areas throughout the day. And that's intentional. We want you to see the connections between curriculum areas, right? Biology is also about a 3-period lesson. It's also about reading. It's also about executive function. It's also about getting your kids outside. There's probably also great ways to incorporate math into those lessons. So by offering you different curriculum items throughout the day, we're hoping we think big picture. That's our goal. We want you to see all the parts and see how they connect and see how you can incorporate this all into your classroom. We also try to offer, you know, different things so that you're not just sitting for 4 hours of the stamp game and then 4 hours of the small bead frame. Typically, if you have a very heavy conceptual topic during a morning or afternoon session, maybe you'll have philosophy or a time to integrate or a time to move during the other part of the day. In addition to those lecture style classes, the dark green area is called supervised practice, and that is times where you are in the prepared classrooms working with the materials yourself. So that's time where you're taking the lessons that you've seen during the week and you are practicing them. We have faculty members in the room, so if you're saying, you know, I am just stuck, I thought I was following along, but now my album says to, or I remember that this happened, but I can't find that piece, or I don't know what to do next. There's 4 hours of that a week. Some of it happens on Tuesday afternoon, and then you can choose whether you stay late or come early for the other supervised practice, whatever works for your schedule. If you are joining us for some of our online courses, I won't go into detail, but we do use an online learning platform called Moodle. So you would log onto this and all of your coursework is contained in this, all of your assignments, all of your videos, all of the live work, everything you submit. We do have a learning platform that we use. So that works beautifully. And Joel is always our Moodle expert. So if you are taking an online course, you will likely see him. If you are interested, there are opportunities for scholarships or financial support. One of the biggest ones is through the American Montessori Society as an accredited program. We do qualify for that scholarship. So I believe the application deadline is April, and you are welcome to apply, and I would be happy to help you apply to that. There are others, but this is a great one. Ooh. All right. I'm going to stop recording.